me tell you a story, one that I've used in other talks, but really speaks to this. It happened once to me. I was working with a famous CEO, a very famous CEO. You know who this guy is. He was covered on the many national magazines. You've heard of him. And this was 2 companies back when I first worked with him. His company was one of my first clients. Now, this guy was famous, intimidating, and not at all vulnerable or humble himself, okay? And as a result, nobody on his team ever gave him feedback, right? They were afraid to tell him the truth. Well, the head of human resources, God bless her, went to him and said, listen, you really have to do something to get feedback from your team. She said, why don't you do 360 feedback? So he said, okay. He reluctantly said, okay. And then my little firm did the 360 feedback program for him, collected it from his direct reports, gave it to him, and he proceeded to show the results to no one. The head of human resources said, listen, you really got to go over this stuff with your team because, they took the time to fill it out. You really should do it. He goes, okay, I'll do it at the next staff meeting. And then he reluctantly allowed me as an outside consultant to observe the meeting. So he went there in his big staff room, and I was sitting off to the side on a chair that had little wheels on the bottom of it, which will make sense here in a second. And he stands up and he says, okay, it says here I'm not a very good listener. Huh, what do you guys think? And when this happened, I thought I could never write that in a book. Nobody would ever believe it, And they went around that table, and it's a true story. I think you're a good listener. I don't think you have a listening problem. I think you're a good listener. Yeah, you're a good listener. I think you're a good. I don't see a problem with that. And he said, okay, good, next one. And I was like, oh, come on. He said, it says here I don't give enough feedback, not enough praise. What do you guys think? I think you give enough praise. I think you're much better than the last guy. I think you got really good at it. I don't have a problem with it. All the way on the table. And this is where I was sitting there thinking in that meeting, if I have any integrity as a consultant, this is where I have to lose a client or put one in danger. So I get on my chair, and it wasn't easy. It was my first big client. I got on my little chair, and I was like, eek, 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 eek. And I rolled up right next to that CEO, and I remember this day. And I said, excuse me, you guys, but you're the only people who filled this out, so. That CEO wasn't too happy about that. But let me tell you something. That client would never let us go. They would not even let us break up with them when we tried. Because as painful as that was, they wanted somebody around who would enter the danger, who would say, hey, you guys. And I was really prepared for them to let us leave, to let us go. And they wanted us around because the world is full of consultants that will tell them what they need to hear. But we were willing to enter the danger.